Birmingham, often touted as a thriving and prosperous city, presents an outward image of success with its bustling economy, modern infrastructure, and vibrant cultural scene. However, beneath this facade lies a stark reality of deprivation and social need. The city is marked by stark disparities, with certain areas home to hundreds of vulnerable individuals and families trapped in cycles of deprivation. These communities face significant challenges, including high levels of poverty, unemployment, and social inequality. Kingstanding is one such area. Lying in the northeast of the city, Kingstanding is ranked within the 10% of the most deprived communities in the country. Many families struggle to make ends meet, with limited access to quality education, healthcare, and basic necessities. However, Kingstanding has a rich community spirit, evidenced by the high numbers of local people prepared to share their time, life skills, and expertise in helping their community as volunteers, working across a range of organizations. This is the story of one of those projects, a very special charity, run by some very special people. This is the story of New Heights. New Heights is a space for people to interact and build neighborhood-based networks and activities supporting mental and physical well-being, bringing the community together to provide help, care, and social contact. The story starts in 2003 with the parish of Christ the King Church and their new priest, Father Michael White.
I first arrived there 20 years ago. Things were a bit tough. The parishioners were dispirited, and there were people on the flat roof area breaking the windows. The numbers were low. So there was a lot going on that made parishioners feel upset and afraid. So we initially just called a meeting, and 11 turned up and me, and the average age was about 70. And so we just asked what we should do, and there was one lady who thought we should hire a hitman to shoot at people from the garage roof. I thought that might not be in the spirit of the gospel, really. So we talked her out of that, even though she was prepared to put money in it. So I said that all we can do is do the gospel. And they said, well, there aren't many of us. I says, well, there's 12 of us here, and 12 seems to be like a good number. So that's what we did. We just decided to be positive and look at what the needs were, and do something to try and make a difference.
Kingstanding being one of the most deprived and poorest areas of England, you know, in the West Midlands certainly, and even in Europe at one point. So the conditions were that old people needed help and were struggling in the area, and young people needed help and were struggling in the area. Now in between, of course, there were a lot of families in need of help and in need of somewhere to go and ask people. But the conditions were that the old and the young were neglected, would be too strong a word, but needed help which wasn't available elsewhere. So for example, when New Heights was formed, one of the early requests for help was an Irish guy came in and asked if we could help him apply for a passport, because he'd never had a passport, but now one of his sons lived abroad and he wanted to visit them. So he came in, he was 70, and he said, how do I apply for a passport, because I've never needed one. So we were a resource, or we became a resource for people who didn't know where else to go, or he didn't even know in some cases they needed help. They just knew that there was something wrong. And so we were the people who were trying to second guess the conditions to help them get through difficulties they had. And those difficulties were right across Kingstanding, in terms of unemployment, in terms of poverty, in terms of childcare, and our biggest service that we provided was to do with domestic abuse, because as people get poorer and families break up more, unfortunately, or are under pressure, domestic abuse becomes prevalent. And we knew that because the biggest time of that service was in need was after Christmas, where people had A, spent what little money they may have left over, and B, people had perhaps too much to drink, and it had turned into arguments at home. And so domestic abuse became our biggest needed service. So the conditions were people in need of help, nowhere to go, and nobody to help them.
Well, I was a nurse in the local area for 7 years, and New Heights started its roots around that time. I knew New Heights through the church, and at the time the church really wanted to know what they could do to really get their roots into the community. And as a nurse, we were working, I was a district nurse, and the New Heights were there trying to get its roots into the community, because at the time, what I remember, the minister at the church, he didn't just want to have the church as the four walls. He wanted to be out there in the community, making a difference to people's lives. He had seen the difficulties that people and the struggles that people were having, and the church at that time were asking around to say, how can we support and help people out there in the community?
There's always ups and downs in terms of trying to get these things going, and one of the issues was just stopping the vandalism, and that was a big thing. And so we wanted to get these youngsters off our roofs. So all I did really was I just got to know them. So I got to know all of their names, and one of the local Labour councillors gave me the names and addresses of all the voters in the area. I found out from each of them which schools they went to, and once I knew the names, what schools they went to and their home addresses, I started saying to them, how'd you like it if I sat on your roof on Warren Farm Road? And so getting to know people was good, and we became friends. We were chucking some furniture out one day to make way in one part of the building, and the next morning I got up and the furniture had been laid out on the garage roof like it was somebody's sitting room. So there was some playful interaction of developing things. And of course the other big thing is money. That's a huge obstacle with a £750,000 project. So we had to raise funds for that. The parish contributed. I think we put 60,000 in, and then we also raised another £700,000 from trusts who believed in what we were doing. They could see that what we were doing was not just for Catholics, it was for all of God's people. And so the money came in.
We knew it would take some time to construct a centre. And part of the problem was where to put it. A, where you're going to get the money, and B, where you're going to build it. Now the truth is, of course, the need was there before the centre would be ready, and the centre can't provide everything, and people can't wait 2, 3, 4 years, whatever. So at one of our meetings, a shop in the what we still think of the shops past the church near where the baths used to be came up for sale. It wasn't derelict, but it was run down. So Michael White said, well, we all got together and he said, what about if we bought that shop? So we borrowed some money off the diocese, we raised money, we held events, we coerced people, cajoled people, ran raffles, whatever, to raise enough money to allow us to buy the shop and start services there. Well, in our parish, there are a lot of people who are physically experienced and mentally experienced in building projects and contracting projects and the like. And Michael White, being what he is, an excellent persuader, he went and got these people together, and they agreed. Some of them are retired now, some had equipment that I might not have, like little diggers and stuff like that. So whatever needed doing to the shop to make it unrun down, Mike White pulled those people together. Well, we all got together really, and so we kicked off by making the shop habitable, accessible, put signs outside it, and then we went out and got volunteers, and of course we had the Arch volunteer as a project manager, Doreen Mooney, who was at that time had just come out of work where she'd been working, so she was encouraged to join us, which she did. So we started the shop running. We ran a lot of services from the shop to do with benefits and poverty and all those sort of things. We hadn't got formal groups set up at that time to do it. It was partly from experience. I don't know, but I know a man who does, is to follow the advert, if I can paraphrase it. And so we had the shop running for some time. Now in the background we went off and raised money, approached the lottery, all sorts of raffles and things. People were very, very generous and they could see something coming. Now at the front of the church, as was then, was the grotto. There was a grotto in front above the garage. In fact, it was the garage and a grotto. So we got architects in and we got people in to plan and realised that we could remove that and we could build a building in its place and over it, which became St John's Centre. And that was opened, I think 2010 we opened that.
There were early services that in a way were already going on because we managed to meet in different places before then. So there was things going on to do with domestic abuse and debt. Sometimes that was working in partnership with other people. Then there were things that addressed people who were lonely and isolated and older people. When you look across a community like that, one of the key things we tried to do was not compete with other organisations because we need to work in collaboration. It isn't about us getting a great name for ourselves, it's about us meeting the needs of local people. So we tried to ensure that we worked with other organisations and we listened to what people wanted and needed and responded to that.
For the last 6 or 7 years I've been the chair of trustees. I was lucky enough to become involved from the very beginning. So I was one of the early trustees and have been involved ever since. So in the early days I was a trustee and I learnt a lot from other trustees and from Father Michael and John McCarthy and from the project manager Doreen Mooney. So there was a great deal to absorb and learn. And I'd like to think as well that I brought to the charity some of my own skills and background from working in education as a manager. A lot of it is just talking to people and listening and learning and trying to support people. The key people in the charity are the employees and the volunteers and the local community. Those are the key people. So the trustees, in a way, we're there to oil the wheels to try and ensure that the charity delivers and that it makes a difference to the local community.
I worked in Kingstanding and became part of the community here and realised that it would be good to give something back. I like working with the people. I think it's an exceptionally well organised and well run charity that offers a lot of opportunities for people that need them.
I chose to be a trustee at New Heights because I was born and raised in Kingstanding, so the geography is very close to my heart. It made me the woman that I am today, and now that I'm fortunate enough to have a good job and a good education, good skill set, I wanted to give back, and it seemed to be the most obvious place to come to do that.
The cafe has made a difference and continues to make a difference. We have all sorts of informal activities to encourage people to come in. We don't offer a huge menu. It's a basic menu of simple food, sometimes soup, sometimes sandwiches, biscuits, cakes and the like, hot drinks or cold drinks, fruit, and it's trying to bring people together. Our cafe coordinator is excellent and has great social skills and is a very warm person and has encouraged people to come in.
My name's Karen and I've been volunteering here for about 4 or 5 years now, but now I'm a paid member of staff. The project's been up and running for a while now and I never used to come in here because I didn't know anything about it. I used to thought it was a waiting room for something else, but now all of a sudden I started volunteering here and I absolutely love it, and it means more to me to get out and speak to people because I just used to go home and not speak to nobody. Now I'm coming in and I speak to all the customers that come in. I've got used to the regulars and the regulars have got used to coming in here, and when we're closed I actually miss not coming in.
It's a toast and we had some customers sitting there and I've picked my toast up and I've took the toast in my soup and everyone's gone, oh no, you ate. I went, no, it's not tea or coffee, it's my soup. I think I scared them half to death.
New Heights is for everybody. And the CAF actually are very, very friendly. They do lots of different things besides serving tea and coffee. And I found out they now do pots of tea, which I enjoy, a pot of tea than a cup of tea. And the staff are absolutely brilliant. I mean, they are very, very good, friendly, polite, and nothing to do with trouble. I've met Mary several times. There's Liz who comes in, and you meet different sort of people who just pop in, just for a cup of tea or a sandwich. And everybody's so friendly, everybody's so helpful. They really are very, very helpful. Nothing's too much trouble.
It's like a lifesaver to them sometimes, just because some people don't see anybody from week to week. So the ones that do come in actually have adult conversation and they can speak, and sometimes they may need a little help, so we advise them to speak to the Nest project, and then they can signpost them on, and then they can come back in whenever they want and just come in, have tea, toast, coffee and have a chat. Even if they just want to come in and just chat, so we just let them come in. You can see the ones that are all worried about whether to speak to people for help, so we just talk to them and ask them if they're okay, and then we just turn and say, well, Nest can help with that, and we advise them to speak to Nest, and then they come back in and they'll go, oh, thanks for that, it's just what we needed, and they sorted them out. And then they've started coming back into the CAF now, so some of them come in for like teas and coffees as well, just to keep chatting and talking to us.
I started coming here when I was 16 for counselling session above New Heights. Obviously from that point onwards then, I was given a form by the cafe manager Joanne. She goes, you seem quite like a quiet person, I think this will do you good. So I filled the form in. Next week I started volunteering there, and from there I've been there up until now, and I'll still come back and volunteer. To me, it's from a shy person to a person you can't shut up talking to now. It's definitely made me a better person who I am. I've met great people, great customers, the staff are great. It's a well-known cafe in the community.
NEST is an acronym which stands for to nurture, to empower, to support and transform. It has two strands to it. One strand is to do with domestic violence. So it is to support victims of domestic violence, generally women, but also some men who have experienced domestic abuse. The support sometimes is one-to-one. The support sometimes is face-to-face, but it can also be on the phone. It can also be through such things as Zoom calls. But also, we've learned over the years that sometimes working in a group, some of the victims do like to come together in a group and to learn from each other and to support each other.
NEST provides benefit checks, welfare information, support with form filling. It also offers signposting, so if it's something that we can't actually support with, we would direct the clients to organisations locally that can support with those. We also offer workshops. We did a brilliant one for, it was a food comparison workshop, and it was just offering the clients the chance to see that there is options, you know, which some people just get so stuck in a rut of buying the same things all the time. And it was something that we picked up on, that there was support there needed, and we offered that workshop, and it was brilliantly turned out, and we had fantastic feedback. And recently, with clients coming to us now, we've picked up that there's quite a few parents and carers that are really struggling with support because their children have been diagnosed or are waiting to be diagnosed for additional needs that they might have. And the support's just not there. We've noticed that, and hopefully now we will be up and running a support group for parents and carers of children with additional needs. Just somewhere where they don't feel alone, they don't feel so isolated. You know, there is other people out there in the same situations, and just having that can really bring some hope, some resolutions to some of the problems they might face, and obviously just company. There's people that come to us that might have additional needs themselves. We support them with the information that they need to send. We even can write letters to the GPs requesting medical evidence so that they can pop that in there, because that's another difficulty that they face. So we do all of that work, and when we get those phone calls from those clients saying, I've been successful, I've got those payments, I'm now able to get myself a little run around so I can start experiencing life again. It's such an achievement for me knowing that just by doing those forms, it's gone such a long way. And I mean, I have people say to me, it's changed my life. And for that, just knowing, gosh, and all I did was sit and fill out a form. You know, it's quite breathtaking. And then we have people that come to us and they want disability living allowance forms filling out. And while discussing the difficulties that they face day to day, knowing what they're going through, I sort of then start explaining some resources they can use within the home, or you know, the way that they could implement structure, or you know, little games they could use at home depending on the child's age. And one client, before she left after filling the form, she turned and looked at me and she said, "You'd never understand the full help that you've given me today." She says, "I finally feel hope." So that was just quite heartwarming.
One interesting strand of the charity is to do with something called Cross and Stitch. This sprang about in an unusual way, with people expressing a desire to have an activity involving cross and stitch. So people come together for a cup of tea and a chat and get involved in cross and stitch. So it's unusual, it's different, and often by doing an activity which kind of, I think, helps people to relax, they can then chat more easily. So it's been a very good kind of icebreaker, excuse to come together and achieve some social cohesion.
I knew how to crochet a granny blanket, as they call it, but I wanted to join to be able to crochet following a pattern. And I've been able to meet some very nice ladies, and we all have fun on a Tuesday afternoon, and we really enjoy it, and it's nice to have company of people. It helps me to get out of the house once a week, and I know of a Tuesday then I can come at 12:30 till 2, which an hour and a half just flies by because we have so much fun and many laughs. I do laugh, and we all have a laugh, yeah. My teddy, my daughter bought me 3 years ago. It came in a box with stuffing, instructions and wool. I didn't have a clue, so then when I heard about Crochet Club, I asked my teacher, as I call her, if I could do my teddy bear. So between us we learnt, and I sat at home. I did undo him a few times because I made a few mistakes, but eventually I got Teddy and it's all done, and I'm very proud. Very much of an achievement, yes. Thank you. Thank you very much. Oh, thank you.
Another service which runs at the New Heights Centre is the Over 50s Luncheon Club, and this runs every week, and I guess the title tells you what it's about, that older people coming together. And one of the things that we've learned through community consultation is that many people feel isolated, and we know that isolation leads to anxiety and to sometimes to mental health issues. So it's a real golden opportunity for people to come together, to chat, to laugh, to engage, sometimes to have a sing-song.
It's just sometimes I lay me down. What can I do?
What makes it work again is the staff definitely contribute, but it's volunteers. Volunteers are at the heart of this club. Once a month we provide a community meal. Now the community meal is aimed at everybody in the community, so anyone can come along to the community meal. And again, it's driven like the Over 50s meal, is driven by volunteers and staff contributing, and we do a slightly bigger menu for that occasion, And again, it's great because it brings people together, and we know that by bringing people together, it makes a difference. And also, we've found over the years that when people come together, sometimes they support each other, sometimes they raise issues which we can then address. Sometimes we find out maybe a problem someone's having where we can point them in the right direction to receive support. Sometimes we can provide the support, but sometimes it's the support they could find elsewhere. So it's another element, another strand of the charity which helps to make a difference. Another service that we provide as a charity is supporting a playgroup for preschool children. And this group is called Crackers. This has run for many years in the charity and goes back to the very origins. It's run essentially by volunteers.
Crackers Family Playgroup was something set up 20 years ago, believe it or not. There was nothing in the area for parents to go to with their young children, so it was something I started in a very small room. I used to bring my own children that were aged 1 and 2, bring them along, set it up and built it up over the years from then. It's a place for families to come to make friendships, to gain the skills that children need socially, you know, interacting with other children, playing games, learning and developing. It's a warm, cosy place for people to come, to feel welcome, to build those friendships. And over the years, the parents that used to come have taken ownership of this by themselves, and they now run it for other parents, where you can get involved with it and take on, you know, your own ideas can be brought to it, so it's evolving all the time. It's really something that we want parents to feel it's theirs. We want parents to feel that they own this. This is a place for them to come with their ideas, their thoughts, and to offer it to other parents. People may have been through experiences themselves and can offer this out to other families and parents. This is what we want to share.
And I'm extremely proud of what those volunteers do and the work that they put in to support mums in particular and young children coming together and using the St John's Centre.
My perception of New Heights is that it's a hub. It's a hub for the community. It's somewhere where people can go when they sometimes just want to have fun, just want to meet, but sometimes I've gone to the old people's clubs there, I've gone to the counselling service there, I've been privileged that I do my own surgery there. It's a place where people can get together, where they can meet, where if they've got any issues it can be addressed, but more than that, where people feel loved and wanted.
We've run a Tai Chi group in New Heights for many years, and it's a group which is, when you see it, hard to take in at first glance. It's led by a Tai Chi instructor, and you'll see people engaging in that activity. Aimed at the older population, and they love it. They love it. They've got a great instructor, and they always speak about the fact that such an activity inspires them and makes a difference. And as well as that, brings a smile to their face. There's a humorous side to it as well. You know, you often experience different things when elderly people engage in physical activities. Some of the outputs are maybe not always what you expect, but they enjoy it enormously. And it's something, as trustees and staff, we would love to see Tai Chi continuing long into the future.
Done that.
No.
And now they've rearranged because of the tram, now they've rearranged the bus stops.
That's nice.
Yeah. And it's a nightmare, especially when you've got anxiety like I have.
The Imagine group is run by volunteers. And one of the things that New Heights tries to do is to support volunteers and to support different groups. And its purpose is working with people who have some kind of learning disability, and this group does great work in bringing those people together and getting them to socialise with each other, engaging with them to help these people celebrate and communicate with each other.
Oh, it means if I've got a problem shared, problem halved, and I feel great when I've been here. You can have a laugh, and you can do drawing, and like I do the word searches and things like that. And I find the group so lovely. They're really friendly and really helpful. I mean, when I've had a problem, I sometimes talk to these, you know, instead of somebody else. And you know, a problem shared is a problem halved.
And it's an outlet. It's an outlet to come here and be like, it's like family. It's so good, and everybody, you can talk and, you know, your problems. It's helped me, you know, it really has helped.
And everything that's said in here is kept in here.
Yeah, we don't sort of talk in and go out and start talking. It's just kept in here.
It's the only time I meet people, because I don't go out unless I come into here.
Yeah.
And I just find it, you know, everybody's friendly. And I just felt at home straight away. They made me so welcome.
The volunteers who run it, I take my hat off to them. The commitment they show to this group and their enthusiasm, and it's not always easy. It can be difficult sometimes raising money to support the group for them, and they approach the challenge with great fortitude and great positivity, and it's just it's humbling to see these volunteers and the work they do with these great individuals who deserve the love and support which is shown to them.
No.
Hi Carol, it's Suzanne.
Oh, hello, Suzanne.
How are you doing today?
As a charity, we offer befriending. That's a more recent thing that has developed in the last few years. And by befriending, I mean that we are contacting people who are lonely, and the contact is made over the phone.
Oh, that's unfortunate.
When I say that, it's also true to say that sometimes, having started on the phone, it then leads to face-to-face contact. And we have a team of volunteers, one of whom is a trustee, who on a weekly basis make phone calls to people who are on their own.
Well now, they've kept her on those tablets because the sickness wouldn't have gone away otherwise.
Oh, bless her. How did they get on the cruise? That was the last time I was talking to you.
Loved it.
Good.
Absolutely loved it, but I don't think they'd do it again.
Now those people sometimes could be elderly, but sometimes they're not elderly. It might just be someone who for another reason is finding it difficult to get out. I would say that the need for that service has certainly grown post-COVID, and the feedback that we've had from the recipients of the service is extremely positive.
It's important to them to have somebody to chat to, even if it's just to talk about issues that might be going on in their everyday life, around health, around families, their dogs being poorly, things like that. Accessing other services as well. Sometimes it's quite difficult for people, particularly with trying to access health service. Some of the people most of them are older people, and it's that thing about I don't want to bother the doctor and things like that. So encouraging them to seek out help for their health is quite important. And I think as well, because they don't see me, because I'm on the phone, it's easier for them to vent a bit more. One lady in particular has talked about a difficult relationship with her daughter, which is now resolved, but her being able to talk to me about it, I think, helped.
And it's been a joy sometimes. I've actually witnessed sometimes the befriender and the recipient meeting up. Recently saw such a meeting taking place in the cafe, and it was amazing to see such a positive relationship, and two people who'd only spoken on the phone for the first time meeting up to have a cup of tea in the cafe. So I think befriending is very important, and I think it's a service we need to continue to grow. We run a very successful karate club, which is run by an organisation outside of the charity. That's a great thing to go on. Not only does it encourage fitness and well-being and self-discipline, but I think importantly for people in Kingstanding, building self-esteem. The Youth Social Action Group is kind of what it says on the tin, and it's an important strand of the New Heights charity. One of the things I like about this group is it's determined by itself. It sets its own agenda. It discusses issues, it looks at things, then acts upon it. So over the years they've had things like meeting with local police officers, meetings with local politicians, asking questions, finding out the kind of things that they do.
Well, to me, Youth Social Action is just like a place to come. You learn about things, like people come speak to you about things like drug abuse, the police come in sometimes, and it's just a nice place to talk to new people in the community and give back to the community.
So it's a place to like calm down and that and like chill out. We do like different artworks and we do different we get people to come in and speak to us about things, and we also go on trips.
I've been a part of Youth Social Action since I was 15 now, so I've kind of grown with the group. I love the group. I've started volunteering this term. This is the first time I've volunteered for the group, but I love seeing the kids progress. I love watching the games that they play and how they make bonds with each other. I think it's really important to kind of have a youth group that kind of works with the community as well and does things for their community rather than just doing it and not taking anything away from it.
They're always keen to find out more and to do more. So in our trip to the House of Commons and the House of Lords, it was fantastic and amazing to see them there, to see them asking questions of our MP Paulette Hamilton, asking questions of our guide as we went round the Parliament estate, showing a real interest. They were able to retain information that was given to them by the guide that myself I found hard to retain, and they showed a willingness and an openness of mind, a sponge-like quality which was refreshing to see. It's clear they want to make a difference in society. Some of them have already spoken about their ambitions as regards their careers, but they want to make a difference as well to Kingstanding. And I think it's encouraging and promising to see young people willing to take on such a challenge and approaching it in such a positive way.
Youth Social Action Group! Yeah!
One of the things that people said they would like to see happening more with New Heights was trips. So we thought long and hard about that, and we spoke with different community members. And on the back of that, we organised a great trip to Weston-super-Mare with 2 coaches. And although it's always a long journey, the people had a great time. And the photographs from there just show the community having fun, having a day out, enjoying it in different ways, fish and chips, the beach, shopping, walking around, eating ice cream. And the feedback was very positive indeed from that day.
It's really exciting to see all the planning come together, and we hope the community have a really nice day in Weston and that we can do more things like this in the future. We
had a trip down to London, and the trip to London involved a large minibus, about 20 people, and the core of it was going to the Houses of Parliament, and it was a great day out. There were adults and young people there. And then also we had some free time at the end. Some people went for a cup of coffee, some people went to Buckingham Palace, some people went to the River Thames, and it was great.
Welcome to your life. There's no turning back, even if we try.
We were lucky enough to get funding from the West Midlands Mayor for an event on Conquer Island, and it was a really nice event. We were lucky with the weather that day. Actually, it was a bit too hot, and we had little tents and marquees up, and we had activities and musician. And the things for older people and games and things for young people. There's inflatable slides, and we had a nice selection of food that was provided in the cafe. So people could go in and help themselves to a nice buffet and get a nice bottle of chilled water, which is certainly appreciated on the day. This was a great thing to see, and that there should be more activities like this out in the open to the whole community, just celebrating community, and trying to have a good time and reminding us all about what a community is about and the purpose of New Heights, and also the purpose, to be honest, of each individual in that community.
For 20 years, New Heights has been there, reaching out to the community, reducing the isolation of older people, promoting their independence, health and well-being, working with younger people, supporting their developmental needs and helping them to raise their aspirations, addressing social health, educational, unemployment and leisure issues, supporting those who are ill or disabled and their carers, working alongside families and parents, helping them to face the challenges of family life and helping to provide support and safety for victims of domestic violence.
Come in and visit. We've got some lovely welcoming staff, and come and have a chat. Hopefully we can help you, support you, welcome you, and who knows, maybe you can bring things to the charity that would help other people. And it's a place, it's a hub for the community where together we can make a difference.
Come and ask, come and ask, come and ask. And if we can't do it, we'll try and find us somebody who can. But quite often we'll point you in the right direction. Quite often we'll know who's somebody we can ask to help you solve your problem.
New Heights is a hub. It's a hub where people in need, if they want support, if they need guidance, if they just need friendship, New Heights is there for them all. I'd like the community to know, if you feel that you need support and you need guidance, go and knock the door. Go and find out what New Heights are offering and just see what you can receive from them. Because even if they can't help you, what I love about New Heights, they know a man who can.
For anyone in the community, it's a gift, isn't it, to have a project like that, and to use it in two ways, like to use it because you need it or we need it, but also to use it because it's a way of being involved and strengthening the community and helping others as well. So it's a fantastic place and facility, but facilities aren't important, people are, and working together is. So it'd be lovely to see more and more people using it in all those sorts of ways.
New Heights is special, and that's because the community is special. And if you live in and around Kingstanding, you are that community.
We love New Heights!
In other words, New Heights is for you. Pop in the cafe for a coffee. We'd love to see you.